Welcome to Texas, huh?
Yeah.
That is not a pretty sight. So bummed. Oh man. Not very good news. I was out data logging, preparing for my next video. I flashed to the 93 octane OTS map. First pull, nothing major happened, but I just noticed a lack of power. So I let it rip a second time and the car stuttered at the top of the RPM range. All of a sudden, when I hit the brakes, it just started idling really rough and making some noise. I started to notice that when I was sitting at a red light, my car just stalled, just shut off. So I didn't know what was going on, but I then realized that I was smelling a ton of gas. And so I'm thinking in my head, going back to the N55 days, maybe it was my high pressure fuel pump going out. I'm gonna start the car, let you listen to it. We will see what the mechanic says. I'm thinking injectors, high pressure fuel pump. I'm getting, I don't know, one of those two, but I'm thinking injectors. I think the codes are kind of pointing in that direction. Misfires on all cylinders. The car is back. Okay, let's jump into it. Let's crack open a hazy IPA, have a little chat. Beamers and brews, huh? Oof, a little on the heavier side. Now, let's go over this invoice from Eurocharged here in Austin. Right away, he diagnosed this thing as a fuel injector. Now, we were on the right track. I figured it was a fuel injector only because we weren't getting any high pressure fuel pump codes per se. I remember on my N54, I was getting a specific code that said high pressure fuel pump plausibility. We didn't get that here. We just had a cylinder 6 misfire. Now, my spark plugs are only 13,000 miles old. I'm running the NGK's one-step colders, the 97506 plugs. I have those linked below. Excellent plugs. They're gapped at 022. And I knew it wasn't those. And I knew it wasn't my coil packs because those are only at 18,000 miles. And those last double of what a spark plug usually lasts, typically. After doing some research while my car was in the shop, I was like, okay, it's a fuel injector. Looked up the fuel injectors, and on FCP Euro, they're only $85. These are the Bosch EU6 fuel injectors. And so when I picked up the car and looked at this and saw that it was $267 for a fuel injector, I got kind of bummed. But I understand that shops go to their local BMW retailers, their parts stores there. These parts are in stock almost all the time. So it saves a lot of time on our end and their end, whatever. This time I'll bite the dust, pay the $266 for the injector. The good news is that these injectors are pretty easy to replace yourself. So I plan on doing the other 5 injectors when I change out my spark plugs. So in the next 5 to 10,000 miles. And the fuel rail, he showed me, sits right here. I need to buy a couple specialty tools to pull the injectors and torque them down properly. But it seems relatively easy, and there's some YouTube videos on how to change out these injectors. So I highly recommend doing it yourself, and you're gonna save a lot of money at FCP Euro. The other good news, these injectors, they don't need any coding. So compared to N54 Index 12 injectors where you need to code those, it makes it even easier to install and do yourself. So I'll let you know how that goes, and I'm sure I'll make a little video on it on how to install these EU6 injectors yourself. And again, $85 at FCP Euro. It's pretty crazy. So after sitting down with my mechanic, forking over my $600, biting the bullet, I wanted to pick his brain, at least get my money's worth, right? So I asked him, do injectors tend to go out on this N55? He said, no, they're relatively stable and I don't have to fix many injectors. It's very rare. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Now there's 3 reasons that the mechanic gave me. The first one was simply bad luck. So yeah, this car is 2014, it's 2022. It'll be 8 years old in a couple months now. Yeah, I could see an injector failing. Now I have 65,000 miles on the car, so relatively low mileage for being 8 years old. Yeah, could have been bad luck. The second reasoning he told me was E85. Now I've been running E85 for the past 1.5 years. My custom tune in particular, where we're really pushing things, I was running an E35 mix to really clean up that timing. And so, yeah, you know, we're pushing the high pressure fuel pump to the limit. The injectors could have been gunked up from the 85. It's very important to run the Lucas ethanol conditioner. I'll have that link below too. I run that in my tank once a month. I should probably do it like every other fill up just to be safe. But E85 could be the cause of the tip on this injector was just open, is what he said. So gas was just flowing straight in. So did E85 eat away at the O-rings on the tip of the injector? Maybe, and caused a pour of gas straight into that cylinder? Yeah, that could be a possibility. The third reason he gave me was simply bad gas. So I picked his brain a little bit more on that. He said that he's seen N55 motors fail on stock tunes simply because of bad gas. The octane readings, like I said earlier, don't always amount to 93 octane. So it's very important to take that out of the equation to just run Shell, Chevron, all your top tier gas. Those are the 3 reasons he gave me. If I had to pick one, I would think that it would be a mix between the E85, running that tune for so long, and simply bad luck / aging. Car's 8 years old, things happen. All in all, it was a great learning experience. I hope this video helped you just figure out a misfire issue that you're having with your car. Again, this was a cylinder 6 misfire. I had extremely rough idling to the point where my RPMs with my foot off the gas were jumping from 200 to 700 all the way back down. It was crazy. Car was shaking violently. There was smoke surrounding my car, sitting in traffic, and all of a sudden my car just stalls. So luckily it started back up and I was able to limp myself home. But those were the symptoms that I experienced. I didn't get any smoke out of the engine bay, only smoke out of the rear. It was a white colored smoke and it just smelled like raw fuel. I think that's how you can easily pinpoint that it was an injector issue. If you have any other questions, let me know. Like, subscribe. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I have a JHP lip review coming up next. I have a 93 octane data logging video coming up next. The lip will be here tomorrow. The CS lip had a little accident on the way here to Texas. So we're actually gonna be selling that to a Instagram follower. He wanted it. The damage wasn't too bad, so he's gonna pick it up for 100 bucks. But yeah, JHP lip review. If you know anything about that lip, it's the most aggressive lip for this car. And I'm probably gonna have to raise up the car a little bit just so I can get some life out of this one, because that'll be the 4th lip I've put on this car in 2 years. So again, like, subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Stay driven. See you later.